integrate with respect to x, e to the x plus e to the minus x over e to the x minus e to the minus x. So on the face of it, it does look very complicated, and an integration, sort of mixed integration, there's so many different techniques, it's very difficult without a lot of experience to know when to use which one, so there are no shortcuts to it. But one thing above all I would recommend knowing is that, well, I'm going to go back to derivatives. So one standard derivative that is not in your formula book is this. So if y equals ln natural log of f of x, some function of x, dy by dx equals f dashed x, as in the derivative of the function of the inside that you're taking a log of, over f of x. So if y equals ln of f of x, dy by dx equals f dashed x over f of x. So what that means is, if we can find the integral of f dashed x over f of x, if we can ever find an integral that's written in this form, then we know that the integral will just be ln of f of x. Well, I suppose of the absolute value of f of x plus the constant of integration. So this is really handy. So it's another thing to have to kind of ask yourself when you're looking at integrals. If you can find a situation where the top is the derivative of the bottom, or the top is a multiple of the derivative of the bottom, so you can maybe pull factors out and make it look like that, then the derivative will be the natural log of the absolute value of the bottom. So I reckon actually in this case the bottom is the derivative of the top and the top's the derivative of the bottom. So bottom being the derivative of the top isn't as useful. So let's have a look. So if we take the denominator, so say if y equaled e to the x minus e to the minus x. So if we take that denominator, so say if y equals e to the x minus e to the minus x, then what dy by dx, well, e to the x just differentiates to itself. Minus e to the minus x, well, the minus 1 here is just a constant. If we differentiate e to the minus x, remember shortcut chain rule, you differentiate the power. So that would be minus 1. That would be minus 1 times e to the minus x. So minus 1 times e to the minus x times the minus 1 that's already there would give us plus e to the minus x, which is identical to that numerator up there. So we do have, this is of the form f dashed x over f of x. So that means, so e to the x plus e to the minus x over e to the x minus e to the minus x does equal f dashed x over f of x. So therefore the integral of e to the x plus e to the minus x over e to the x minus e to the minus x with respect to x must equal the natural log of the absolute value of the denominator, e to the x minus e to the minus x, and I suppose obviously plus the constant of integration, and that's finished.